All right, I'm joined by Mary Templeton from Washougal School District, the superintendent there. Mary, thanks for coming on the show today.
Yes, happy to be here. Would love to talk a little bit about our school year. I think you're going to ask me that, so I'm ready.
Yeah. How are things in Washougal?
You know what? Things are going really well. We are looking forward to the fall. The year that we just put in, as you well know, as does everybody who has been part of public education, it was challenging. In fact, the most challenging year any of us in public education have ever faced. I've been in public education for going on 30 years, and indeed, this was certainly a challenge.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, when you think about this school year that just wrapped up, what stands out to you in terms of just this one of a kind experience that everyone in education just went through?
I believe that through the challenges, we were offered opportunities. And in the Washougal School District, we were eager through the very difficult time that we had to always be thinking about what is the opportunity right now, and then what is the opportunity for the future. And so I believe we did capitalize on those opportunities, and we came up with quite a few programs that we created that we believed were helpful during the pandemic, but also were forward thinking, future thinking for our school district.
And so, I'm curious, as a superintendent, how difficult was it to be a leader of a school district when we were in this year where you didn't really know what the future held from one week to the next? That must have been a challenge.
Well, I will tell you that they didn't cover this in the WSU Superintendent Certification Program. They will now, I'm sure, and we'll be talking about what happens when you're in a global pandemic. So a lot of us, myself included, we were trying to figure things out as we moved forward. But at the end of the day, here are the things that we relied on. First and foremost, this is a people business, and that's who we serve, that's our commodity, that's who we are. So we focused on people. Serving each other, supporting each other, understanding how hard this was for teachers who had to constantly change their pedagogy, change their platform and their delivery model. That's hard, and it was just constant. Think about our parents, many of whom have career jobs just like I do, yet there they were with their children at home through this last summer, and then as we started the school year. And how do you navigate that? And how do you support your child who now moves into a hybrid setting, but is still doing some at home and some at school? I look at my leaders, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my leaders. They were on the front lines, and I think of my principals as mayors of their city. These are their people. They know their people, and they're in charge of the success, the support, the health and happiness, and the educational outcome of their children and their families. So they dang it, they did an excellent job. They were willing to communicate. They were willing to flex. I had my principals saying to me at some point, we were trying to figure out how do you fit in desks in a spacing issue when you can bring children back, but you have a 6 foot, social distancing. I had one principal say to me, okay, now this is not my first idea, but I'm willing to go into the library. We could turn that into a space. I'm going to have to move a bookshelf. Now, I might need a Sawzall to do that. And anyways, we didn't have to do that, by the way, but just the fact that my principals, that's a small example, were willing to go above and beyond, do whatever it takes to make this thing work so we can get children back in the building as soon as possible and make sure that they're supported. And then at the end of the day, too, I will have to a nod out to our classified staff. Our bus drivers, as an example, were the very first folks that were called up to duty when we were in this last spring. They were so flexible in the Washougal School District. They were willing to deliver meals, deliver packets, help connect kids to their iPads. And I'm appreciative of them and everybody else who just was so dedicated. And then finally, I just have to thank my school board.
Yeah.
These are tough times. And for a school board and the school board leaders in the Washougal, or the board members in the Washougal School District, they're volunteers. And they were out on the front lines of making really tough decisions. And as you know, through lots of this, and there were a lot of complexities. We had people saying, you're going way too fast. We had people saying, you're going way too slow. And so they were trying to balance that. And as their superintendent, trying to keep everybody using common sense, good judgment, listening, because everybody has a point. Just keep moving, keep your eye on the prize, because we are rising as a school district in the state of Washington to be a top performer for our size. So anyway, I just want to, thank yous. And it's that grit, determination, passion, hard work, and a commitment to each other.
I love that. Yeah. Are there things from this, whirlwind school year that we just finished that will carry over into the next year, do you think?
There are. We have some very exciting programs that we developed during the school year, and my assistant superintendent, Renee McMurray, really led the work of developing an alternative learning environment. We call it Washougal Learning Academy. Voila, we love the name. And that really was a family-friendly, flexible learning opportunity for our children, some of whom were not ready to return in person. As we brought our children back for 4 days a week of in-person learning, they wanted to remain, have that flexibility. But we also had children that said, you know what, the way that school looks and the structure of school, that really hasn't worked for us. And we are looking for something different. And the Washougal Learning Academy and the principal is Jason Foster. So thank you, Jason and team. They did an excellent job to create. They built an airplane while they were flying it. And families are very happy. The program is very successful. And we think this is an excellent opportunity for us in the future to have in our portfolio something additional that our families need. And really, isn't that our job, is to figure out what do your customers, and those are our children and our families, what do you need to be successful? And then our job is to create those things, provide them at the appropriate times so that all of our children, again, have that first class ticket in their hand. Here's my future. So that's one of the things. Another thing that we created and we were already in process on these two pieces. One is our culinary program that we went from a contract, mostly frozen prepared foods, served to children for the nutrition services program, to a chef-made cooking model. Our chefs actually are cooking our meals. They're making homemade cinnamon rolls. I had eggs and bacon the other day. They're making fresh taco salad. These are things that they're creating, and it's locally sourced, much of the ingredients. And they have chef coats and chef hats. They've got smallwares, and I had to ask, what's that? So, like knives and mixers and those kinds of things. So that was a really large undertaking that we.
That's cool.
And we did that in the middle of a pandemic. And I remember at the beginning of it, as we were marching forward, someone said, "Are you sure you want to do that in the middle of a pandemic?" And I said, yes, because I don't think I can take one more frozen chicken patty sandwich being served to my kids. That's not the right thing to do. So anyway, Margaret Rice, our CTE director, was she led that work, and thank you to her. And then the last thing, you're like, Mary Templeton, you have a lot of words. Yes, Nick. The last thing I wanted to highlight is our dual language program. We had been working towards a dual language program, and Spanish is the language that we've chosen for a little bit, but during the pandemic and during our work around making sure that all children are seen, known, and valued, we realized that having a dual language program is going to serve our Spanish-speaking families, but it's also going to serve children who don't speak Spanish yet, because it really increases your overall academic achievement if you're in these programs. So it's true. We have a dual language program, and we already have our children enrolled. And I think we're going to have 2 classrooms for kindergarten next year. That's what we have planned. That was a big lift, and yet here we go with that. Just again, another exciting thing that says, and this is what we learned from the pandemic: listen to your families, listen to your parents. What are they telling you? What are the lived experience of your children and the families and their parents? And when they tell you they need things that are different, things that are more flexible, friendly, family friendly, or that serve a specific need because I haven't been seen or valued by the community, then we do those things. And a lot of the programs I just described really hit that note for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that a lot of districts, not just in the state, but around the country, we're just in let's survive this year mode with this school year. But to hear that Washougal was able to not only do that, but innovate, create new programs, really look at new opportunities and successes. I mean, that hats off to your team for being able to do that.
Well, that's right. It's hats off to my team. I have an extraordinary team that includes all of my leaders, from my building principals and associate principals and those supporting the work there, to my district office and my executive cabinet. They are hard workers. They are innovators. They are demanders for justice for all of our children, and they're funny. So it's been really an enjoyable time working with this team as we kind of keep pushing on the things that we need to do differently, making sure we're paying attention to the things we've always done well, and we want to continue those things, but also to innovate. That's a great word for the future.
Well, Mary, thanks for coming on, lending the superintendent perspective on this previous school year, and there's some exciting things ahead there. So thanks for the time today.
Nick, nice to meet you. Thank you. Enjoyed the time.
All right, Mary. All right, and to learn more about Washougal's dual language program or some of the other things that Mary talked about that are coming up for the fall, head to their website. You'll find it right on the front. I'm looking at it right now. That website is washougal.k12.wa.us.